What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Elude Stalwart Plays. Today we're going to be playing Lost Ark on Elude Stalwart. He's our level 51, combat level 51, roster level 56 paladin, and we're currently sitting at 1056 eye level. I want to try to get to Punica. I want to get that up to 1100, but I've not really been doing the dailies I should be doing. I'm gonna try to get back on track and do that stuff now and today. We really need to work on our engravings. Yeah, we're in bad shape here. I needed to take a break though. I was like grinding hard and decided to switch it up and do some other stuff. But now we're gonna get back to this, and I don't really know how I'm gonna go about doing this. I also got some other stuff going on I'm trying out today, so if you notice things seem off, it's because I'm testing things. All right, we'll get it sorted in the coming week or so. But yeah, let's we're gonna start in some chaos dungeons just to get reacquainted here. We can see our rest bonus is quite high. We're gonna start with the 1040 here. I don't know if I've ever done a 1040. Before we do, let me sort the audio here because I got to be able to hear this. All right, music is way too loud. Bring that down to like, I don't know, 30? Well, yeah, we'll do it like 30. That should be good. Let's go. All right, so Elude Stalwart's a paladin. He's set up for kind of like support. He's doing blessed aura engravings and awakening runes. And this is kind of his raid build right now. I'll just buff my damage, protect myself while I do AoEs. I can cleanse debuffs with my bubble, and then I could rebuff my damage, and then just kind of like use my punishing abilities, the blue ones, to get my piety up. Now in the chaos dungeons, you can actually use your awakenings pretty frequently. It's good to use them on cooldown, in my opinion, because they refresh by the next little wave. Yeah, I've not really been taking the paladin too seriously. I got him to tier 2. He's like, you know, the item level that he's at, and then I kind of like shifted gears and did some like stronghold stuff. I did a few, well, I did like one island recently. I can't even tell you what the name of it was. It was like a horse island. It had a bunch of like horse and stuff. I don't even think I completely finished it. I didn't get the token, but I got the Makoko seeds. But yeah, I got a horse from that one actually. It's like a combat horse. So that was cool. IRL, I've been messing with this monitor. I got a new monitor. I don't know how that's going to affect streaming. It turns out the Lost Ark's in this, it's like a widescreen 21:9, I guess. It has like 21:9 resolution options. So I got a monitor that had the ability to kind of like do that. So you can see like the screen's probably a bit wide if you're watching this on like a 1080p monitor. This is supposed to be like 4K res. I'm getting 61 fluctuating frames a second because of my graphic settings. Whenever I'm full screen, I can get over 100 frames a second whenever my graphics card's not encoding the stream. So that, it's been pretty nice. I've been trying to just enjoy it, reacquainting myself with different games that I haven't played in a while, seeing how many different games support like ultra wide resolution. And then this is the first stream I've done where I've kind of like streamed at that resolution. Traditionally, whenever I initially started streaming, they would advise against that. Like you don't really want to make your stream less approachable by people. You don't want to exclude people. And if you don't have a 4K res monitor, it's like you're kind of like you're excluded. from being able to see all of what's actually happening here. And it may even be diminishing your experience. I don't know if like you got the black bands on the left and the right, or I mean the top and the bottom rather. So yeah, this is a test stream. I do want to get some stuff done today, but as far as streaming goes, I'm not probably gonna stream super long because I do want to watch this back and make sure that it looks right. I've been playing WoW recently. I resubbed to WoW. I've been trying to get into the new patch. I kind of tinkered around with some lobies a little bit, like the level 50s. And then I kind of went back and did some high level stuff, like with the level 60s and their covenants and getting situated in the new zone. I don't even know what that zone's called. It's beyond Korthia, the 9.2 stuff. Like I got Nightmare Park there. I was debating on whether or not I wanted to stream that. Seems like people have strong emotions about WoW still. I don't really know, man. One way or the other. I enjoy good gameplay, and WoW's still got some of the most fluid combat that I've ever seen, as far as animations and rotations and like your kind of like synergies between abilities and the rock paper scissors of it all. Like that stuff's pretty good. It's more fluid than most games, and it's like a modern game engine because WoW's engine's kind of like custom. I don't know where the hell I'm going. It's been that long since I've ran Chaos Dungeons, I guess. It's also been a while since I've really streamed, so it's kind of weird just talking again. You know, as a married man, I don't really talk if I don't have to. Social life optional. But yeah, I've been going deep in games and stuff lately. All right, looks like we got the enemies back. I want to try to group them up. Yeah, I love this, man. It looks beautiful. I really held off on getting a monitor for a long time because it wasn't anything that y'all experienced, so I didn't feel like it was a priority. But after a while I started thinking to myself, I need to enjoy the game. I need to enjoy it visually, like being able to appreciate it and everything. And it does add for the excitement whenever I see these animations go off. That shit is crazy looking. I forget how beautiful this game's animations have, or how beautiful this game's animations are. And you do feel powerful too. It's really misleading when you see it back. Like I watch even my own streams and it's like, you don't get that same visceral feeling. It's something about when you press the button and the screen shake happens at that time. I noticed it when I was doing lumberjacking. I was sitting there hitting a tree the other day, a log, and the gravity of the swing, like it shook the whole map every time I would strike the damn tree. So I was like, oh damn, like he's hitting this tree with force. But it's like something like that with the abilities too. Like there's something in it that it just gives you this more visceral reaction. I guess in a way too, like if you're playing with the controller, I don't know how well the vibration settings are, but most games can kind of get you into it with just like the controller vibration when you're like driving and you go off the road or something like that. Any kind of haptic feedback or anything that seems more like instantaneously visceral. I think this game does that pretty well. There's a lot of shit though. The mechanics and the complexity and like the knowledge like you have to have or know or discover, like you can, I don't know, there's so much to this game it could be a little overwhelming. But the combat in itself, like if I could just sit in combat, I'd be happy all day just sitting in combat, just not having to ride my boat everywhere or teleport all over the place or save my ports in certain ways. Like Oh, that shit, the logistics, get rid of the logistics. Let me play the game. That's how I feel. I'm tired of logistics simulators. It's like organizing dates and times and tracking different complex systems and their abilities, and oh man. And then this stuff, like the extra things like the login stuff and the cash shop stuff, and it's overwhelming to feel like you have to track that much shit. I don't know how my bags are looking. And it feels like some things, if you just don't know, man, if you just don't know, everybody else knows, like, I don't know. I guess that's where, I think that's why they say get in a group, get in a guild, get in a party, or I read the different chat channels. That works pretty well too. You just learn shit by watching people ask questions, and they'll refer people to different websites too, so you'll get websites, and those websites have information. Could I have just rare auto dismantle? I don't want to do that. It might be good to learn this stuff. I kind of do it with the crystals, but I ain't really into it right now. I need to get my swiftness and crit up. Awakening +2. I don't want to sit here and balance gear. That's another thing too. It's like the logistics of things, like balancing your gear. That shit's making sure that these numbers hit certain thresholds and shit. That's annoying. Just let me smash, man. The most I ever used to like doing to my gear, and as far as like character balancing and stuff, was like socketing and reforging. And even that got pretty annoying if you were like every upgrade, if every upgrade you reforged and resocketed, like you went broke first of all pretty quickly. But you just felt inefficient the whole time you weren't socketed and reforged. And that's how I feel in this game. Like if I hit any kind of threshold where I'm like challenged, or I like hit a wall, or if I even just die once, I'm like, oh fuck, I should have upgraded my gear. Because it's basically that. You upgrade your gear and it's just like, it's like the content's less laggy. It's like there's less difficult things that happen. I've seen that in some fighting games I play, where they actually allow you to increase your latency as a handicap. I saw that in Tekken. I was like, latency is that's not a handicap. The best way I've seen handicap ever done in a fighting game was Tekken Tag. And it may have been all the Tekkens that did it, but Tekken Tag specifically had a handicap percentage where the more you increased the percentage, the less damage you took. So you could have a 150% damage reduction just making the fights longer. And that's how we would do it. Like both of us, like me and my brothers or sisters, whoever was playing at the time, like we would get on Tekken Tag and increase our handicap up to 150%, just so we had longer fights, longer matches. We can learn our combos and shit better. But as we started learning, or as I started learning, or my brother would start learning, we would start to get better at the game and start to learn the combos and shit like that. And also timing, like you'd start to learn when you could go in and attack or when you had to drop back. And yeah, so increasing the handicap to reduce the damage you take was a really cool way of kind of like making it more fair whenever we were fighting as well, because I would have them increase their handicap all the way, and anytime that I would win, if I beat the we ended up, so there was like very many of us. I'm the oldest of 8, okay? So at any given time between my parents, there was always like 4 or 5 kids, and PlayStation's only got 2 controls, right? So if you lost, you pass the control, you pass the sticks, right? So loser has to give up the controller. If you don't lose, you never give up the controller. So at a certain age, my brothers and sisters caught on to this. And we started having to, you know, add that handicap. So anytime I would win, I would reduce my handicap down 10%. And it would get ridiculous to the point to where if I kept winning, I would end up being a one-shot. Like if they hit me one time, then I had to give it the control because I would die. So that got kind of stupid, and I would have to give up the control like way earlier most of the time. But a few times I would get like on a winning streak and I would have to get to that one-shot range. And I took it as like a badge of honor to be able to hold on that long. But we had to do it for each other too. Like if they were playing against each other, I'm sure that they did that. Like, I don't know. But that was a good way to balance the game. Like, I guess that was the point of that. It's like lagging is not balancing the game. Like trying to, the way they're doing it now, where you increase the latency or whatever, the delay between when you hit the button and when shit goes off. Like that's not a measure of handicap. And maybe I was misreading what that game, you know, what the purpose of that mechanic was in that game. Maybe it actually wasn't meant to be a handicap, but like a way of dealing with latency or ping or something. But yeah, in this game or certain games I play, like racing games and shit specifically, and shooting games like Red Dead Redemption, they embrace the fact that you can get aimbot like assistance from the game, where like literally in Red Dead, like you aim and it auto targets like the center mass of the body, to where you could develop the finesse to just flick. So you go center mass once you aim, and then you flick, and then once you flick up, you're in headshot range. So if you could master the art of flicking up after center mass, it's almost every time a headshot. So the reason why I don't play Red Dead Redemption 2, I love that game, but it's just broken in that way. You could turn it on to where like you're not in the same lobby as people who are aiming the way you are and shit. And there were other aspects, but just the fact that like you could get through all the story with just this little gimmick, I guess. I mean, most games are like that. I guess they got to be balanced somehow. I think about like some of the older console games and how they would do like cheat codes or little backdoors for the developers to get to levels faster, so that they can like probably for quality assurance, but then also so they can go and balance different levels properly. So there were like all these shortcuts, and when I learned about that first, y'all probably heard me talk about this before. It was on Sega, on the original Sega. I had Sonic the Hedgehog, and I'd seen for the first time the cheat code, the turn into anything cheat code, and you would turn into like golden rings, spawn in 100, and then the activate supersonic cheat code, so you can actually go into like a Super Saiyan Sonic the Hedgehog, and with 100 rings, all you had to do is double jump, and you were Super Saiyan Sonic the Hedgehog. And that shit was badass. The first time I saw that, it blew my mind. I was probably like 9 or 10 years old, and yeah, it was like a whole new reality opened up in my world, because I was already obsessed with video games. Once you saw that there was like cheat codes and Super Saiyans and all this shit, like, oh no. I ain't unplugged since, guys. I ain't unplugged since. But yeah, like that shit's cool to me. Like being able to like hack the game in certain ways, but like only after you've already beat it. It's like you've got to have like the earning part. Like you got to earn it. You got to, because I had already played Sonic the Hedgehog for so long before I even learned about that. Like I remember, you know, wiping on certain levels over and over, like all the swimming levels, and then you start getting to the sky stages and shit like that, and like all the mecha stages. Sonic the Hedgehog, that shit was cool. I ain't seen a game like that. Like even racing games aren't even as good as what it used to feel like running across the stage as Sonic the Hedgehog. To where if you like understood the level, it was just like parkour the whole way. And then whenever it went to like Dreamcast or it went on the 3D machines, they started grinding on rails and shit. Like that shit was cool. But I like, where is that now? Like I don't see Sonic anymore. I know like they got these little games, but at one point it just turned into like, I don't know. It's like they didn't understand what to do with Sonic once he went 3D. They couldn't keep that going for some reason. I think it's a matter of latency or processing power, Because I try to get, in most games that I play, I try to be the fastest I can be, or do the like the quickest build or something. And you start to meet the latency, or you start to meet the processing power in like your ability to like push. And I think that's the case, is like you're limited by the amount of processing power and late distance to the server you have and all that shit once you get up to a certain threshold. And then most of these, like, you know, small consoles and stuff like that, they probably couldn't run the graphics quick enough for Sonic the Hedgehog to really open up. But yeah, I'd love to see a Formula 1 racer like play Sonic the Hedgehog in like a modern way, like in a modern game. Like, I'd like to see that shit. Would be fucking crazy. Guardian raids, I've never beat Acades. I still haven't. It's just matchmaking him sucks. I don't have the juice to fight him in because I'm holy, right? And it's like, you see how he's very weak to dark? Is he resistant to holy? Because I can't beat this guy. I'll try him once, but if he's dumb, I'm just gonna go outsource my shit. I know I can get this guy done, but I can't get to raid level 4 until I beat Acades. So I'm gonna matchmake. I'm gonna try to do Acades here.